welcome back, and we have finally reached the end of the gauntlet. The wrap-up of all the films that were missed in 2022, so that soon we can actually compile the best, worst, and meh list. And what better way to cap off the year that was than with my beautiful co-host, permanent co-host now, my beautiful girlfriend, Rebecca, and we are back with the final review of 2022 for The Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery.
Right. One thing, why do you think that they went with the Knives Out mystery rather than a Benoit Blanc mystery?
I think to connect it back to the original
movie.
Because I think advertising is much different now than it was back in the day.
You could have just said it was like an Agatha Christie or Monsieur Poirot.
Yeah. But even like the Thin Man series, the Thin Man, the Thin Man Calls Again, Valley of the Thin Man, I think.
Do you know now, I don't think of the Thin Man as the Thin Man. I automatically picture Slender Man in my head.
Yeah.
Which is
not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
But I think to connect it back to the
Knives Out.
Yeah, and to keep it so people know, okay, I think if you say a Knives Out mystery,
right.
I think people are going to connect it more than a Benoit Blanc mystery.
Right.
I think if they keep going with them, which I hope they do.
Yes.
Then it may eventually become a Benoit Blanc mystery.
I think.
Or they won't need the subtitle at all.
Okay. Let us summarize. Go ahead, summarize.
I don't know if I can.
I know.
All right, so Daniel Craig is back as Benoit Blanc, who is, in typical Agatha Christie fashion, is invited mysteriously to a weekend retreat at a rich man's island
For a murder mystery party
where this eccentric weirdo has gathered up his
friends.
Eclectic group of friends,
The disruptors.
There's a disgraced model, a
politician,
a male power blogger,
and a scientist.
Yeah, so a very eclectic group. And he has called them there to do a, kind of one of these how to host a murder things. And
on his private Greek island.
Yes, and
it's taking place, which was interesting to me, in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's happening during the quarantine, which is fascinating, which is
such an interesting little slice of history.
I will make this, because this was so weird watching this, the last movie of 2022 for me, and the film takes place in 2020. You can tell it was filmed fairly early on because both Stephen Sondheim and Angela Lansbury have cameos, and it's like, oh,
yes,
it was so sad.
I enjoyed that little clip though.
I did too. I thought it was really sweet.
Where he's playing Zoom games.
Yeah, with them
and Natasha Lyonne and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, but yeah, I loved that. And of course he goes, there is an actual murder, and
they have to solve it.
And he has to solve it, and it turns out that there's a plot within a plot that he set up his own.
It's an onion, it's layers.
Yeah, so he and one of the guests is not who they say they are, because he set it up with them to solve another murder that happened off camera and we don't know about. And there's just layers and layers and things and things and things and...
Yes. It was, generally, when we watch mysteries together, I can pinpoint things pretty early on. And there were some things that I did catch, but there were some that I would, totally out of the blue. No clue. That twist halfway through...
Yeah.
No, that one was so, it's something that has been done before, but it was fresh enough that it was done in a fresh enough way that it was totally. Like I was like I actually was exclaiming, and that does not generally happen during a mystery.
No.
So, but okay, so impressions.
I said this a few months ago. I think when I was leaving
Las Vegas.
No.
Neverland.
No. As I was leaving, See How They Run, is that I think without realizing it, we have re-entered the era of the movie mystery.
Right.
You know, there was that one this year. There was Death on the Nile.
Mm-hmm.
There was this one. It's like we have silently re-entered the era of the classic movie detective.
Right.
And I love it.
And the classic movie detective that's done with humor.
Yes, it's not a gory,
right,
you know, Seven type thing. It the best way I can kind of describe it is it's kind of Agatha Christie. You have a group of colorful suspects.
So Agatha Christie. Like in the locked room situation.
Yeah, an eccentric detective.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it. I've loved all the mysteries this year, and I loved this. This was so much fun.
Well, and what they did with this is that it does have that Agatha Christie core, but it is updated and inclusive of so many things that you recognize. When they're looking at the friends, okay, when the friends all show up on the dock to go to this island in Greece, and you've got Benoit Blanc already there with a mask on, just sitting there sedately in his costume. Oh, we will get to the costumes.
Oh, yeah.
But then, you know, you have the Catherine. Oh, the cast in this.
Oh, and yeah, that's another thing with these mysteries.
Oh my gosh.
I love these casts that they're putting together.
Yes. So you have Claire, the Catherine Hahn character, show up, and she's so harried and wearing beige, and she's got a mask on with the hair all messed up, and you recognize that lady. And then the scientist shows up, and you recognize him. And then Kate Hudson comes in, and she's got a mesh mask on. And you're like, oh yeah, definitely you like that performative, like, oh, I'm wearing a mask, but it doesn't actually do anything. And then the Dave Bautista character, Duke, shows up.
And he's not wearing one.
No mask, whiskey his girlfriend, no mask, on a motorcycle, gun in his belt. Like, you're like, I know these people.
Yeah.
Like, they were perfectly represented segments.
And yeah, what a fun cast.
Oh my gosh.
What a fun cast. And in so many ways, people that you have that have kind of disappeared.
Not Catherine Hahn.
Not Catherine Hahn, but like Kate Hudson.
Yes.
And you like forget that Kate Hudson.
She's a good actress.
Is so good and
she's
so fun and charming.
Yes.
Edward Norton. Who I don't remember the last time I saw Edward Norton in a movie, and I don't know. Edward Norton himself as a person kind of rubs me the wrong way, but you can't deny he's got an intensity on screen.
And him as that Elon Musk there, like I just it was just so perfect.
And fun cameos. Ethan Hawke had a weird cameo. Hugh Grant had a cameo as Benoit Blanc's boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just like, I don't know, you're like, that's Ethan Hawke. Like, why is he gonna come back? No, he's there for like one scene and then gone. And you're like, fucking. And
for a movie that had a really actually small cast.
Yeah.
It was like every single person in this movie you recognized.
Serena Williams had a cameo.
Oh my gosh, yes, Serena Williams had a cameo.
Which was hysterical.
But it was, yeah, just so many little bits, and every, like, all the little details and the callbacks, and there's this trope about writing and movies and books and whatnot, like, if it doesn't like lead to the story, then cut it out. And you could, this was lean.
Yeah.
Like, there were parts that seemed excessive, but they called back to it, and you're like, every single part of this was necessary and integral to the plot. So
yeah, and of course, you know, the guy holding it all together is Daniel Craig.
Oh my gosh! Now he has James Bond nothing. This is his role.
Yes.
Okay, this is his quintessential Daniel Craig role as Benoit Blanc.
And I think we even mentioned it after we saw that last god-awful Bond movie.
Where they kill Bond.
It's like, watch, maybe Casino Royale, maybe Skyfall, but watch him in those last 2 Bond movies and look at just how done he just is. And then watch him in these movies and look how alive.
Having so much fun.
Yes. And it's like, my God, look how... And on that, like we mentioned this, why was this more of a Bond film than any of the Bond films he actually did? Like the
villain in the glass office.
Yeah, the lair, the private island. Like, this is a fucking Bond villain.
Gosh, it was
like,
great.
why did this movie get it right and all his Bond movies didn't? What the fuck?
The best part about Benoit Blanc, that he's got the charm of James Bond and the brilliance of, you know, like a Perot, but he's got the bumbliness of a Columbo.
Yeah, well, the perceived bumbliness.
Yes.
Because that was the thing with Columbo that made him so enjoyable, is that his bumbling was always calculated.
Yes.
To make people think he was an idiot.
Although there were some things, like when he's smoking in the garden, and you're like,
yeah,
this is enough smoking. Like, that was so funny to me.
You know, but yeah, it's like, my God, what an alive performer he is, and what a just
the outfits.
Oh my God, the costumes they had.
The ascots.
Bathing suit thing.
Oh my gosh, you need that bathing suit. That is.
I would rock that.
Standard for bathing suits now, like this bathing costume.
Yeah, like top and bottom, like, and I think it was a one piece.
Yes.
He's just like.
Oh no, I think it was separate, but one piece would have been awesome too. But the costumes for each character were so specific and perfect. Like, okay, let's just talk about the bathing suits in the pool scene. Okay, you've got Catherine Hahn in the full bathrobe, brown one piece, you know, with a visor. And then you've got the Kate Hudson come out with this ruffled orange thing, heels, a sarong, a big orange hat, right?
And a V cut on that lower part. That was like, damn, you are leaving nothing to the imagination there, girl.
Oh my gosh, like Kate Hudson's keeping it tight. Like,
she was rocking it. She looked good.
And how much, like, she does this cute little nose crunch thing that her mom used to do. Like, it was so cute. Anyways, and then you've got Dave Bautista's Duke character in this
Speedo
with a gun holster.
Yeah.
It's a Speedo with a gun holster. And it's so perfect.
Can we take a second? Because there's like one costume we have to talk about, but I just want to segue just with that. And can we talk about just how good Dave Bautista actually is?
Good. Because this character is so opposite of who he is in real life. He was playing this Joe Rogan, men's activist, men's right, like, douche nugget. And, like, he played it so well.
Yeah.
So well.
I saw a poll.
Completely opposite of who he is in real life.
I saw a poll, and I heartily disagree with it. You know, it was asking, you know, who's the best wrestler turned actor?
Yeah.
You know, between him, The Rock, and John Cena.
Not John Cena.
And people, and The Rock won the poll. It's like, no, The Rock's the most recognizable and the most profitable. He's not the best actor.
I think
Bautista's the best actor of all of them.
Batista is the best actor. The Rock is good at what he does.
Yeah, he's good at what he does.
He was great in that Jungle Cruise movie.
Yeah, but
that is his jam. But I think Dave Bautista is like,
yeah, but he's not an actor. Bautista he's actually doing a lot of different stuff.
And the phrase, like when you see him, the phrase "thighs like tree trunks," just like that has a literal
You could
meaning.
not get over that.
Like,
You were just like,
this
you were looking at his thighs for a while.
I
It's like-
am not a small person, but I swear his thighs are as big around as I am. But anyways.
But anyway, but speaking of costumes, the one that I think the dress Kate Hudson,
rainbow
oh
dress.
my God, that was beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that
Yeah.
that is gorgeous.
Like the costuming in this movie was
Yeah, and
like just perfect. And the suit and the hat Lionel wears for the majority of the movie with the wishbone brooch, like, so perfect.
This is what happens. One of the reasons I really like this movie is this is what happens when you have a director,
Ryan Jackson,
who is incredibly creative and specific in his vision. And all y'all who still complain about The Last Jedi can go fuck yourself. That was the best of those sequel trilogies, and you can just, if you don't get it, you don't get it. But this is what happens when you get a guy or any creative person who has a solid vision.
Yes.
And is allowed to carry it out. He gets a cast of people who are clearly loving what they're doing.
Yes.
Like, you can tell, if it came out that these people hated this movie and had the most miserable time, I would be legitimately surprised.
Right.
Because it just looked like all of them were
so
just...
much fun. Even like the scenes, like the little, like there's Catherine Hahn's husband, Dallas, like he's played by Dallas Roberts in this.
Yeah.
And like I'm a big Dallas Roberts fan because he's an SVU like superstar. Like he was one of the big villains on SVU. But he like just he's got this mustache. Like even the little characters were so perfectly done.
Like,
and I think when you're doing a murder mystery, that's how it has to be. It is a precise puzzle.
Well, and I love the weird things, like the guy who was just staying at the island, like
Daryl.
Like Edward Norton's Elon Musk guy has like a stoner roommate.
Who's just there?
Who's just
Who's like
there
in this super modern, super like glass, crystal art, deca. Like there's just he built a paneled room, a wood paneled room for his stoner friend who just hangs out.
Who just like walks into scenes.
Like,
I'm not here. And he's like, and like, you were saying you thought he was going to come back. I honestly didn't think he was. I thought he was just there for a running gag of, hi, I'm just this weird thing that's happening. And it's like, because that's what the director does. It's just, it's a weird little, that gives it some flavor. And it's like this, like, I love it. Like Edward Norton, we laughed for like 5 minutes. Like when Edward Norton is there giving his opening speech, welcome here, and this little droid is like carrying the luggage behind him. It's like you don't, like, he doesn't acknowledge it, none of them do. It's just this thing that's happening in the background. He's like, the hell is that? But in any other movie, it wouldn't work.
It was perfect.
And I just think this is what happens when you have a creative person who's allowed to be creative.
Yes.
And has gotten, and it's not just the actors, the set designers, the costume designers. You mentioned the lighting for this movie was insane.
Yes, because they have blackout scenes, but they're, and I have terrible vision, and so when there's a blackout scene, a lot of times it's really hard for me to distinguish what's going on. But it was great. It was perfect. Yeah. Like.
So you could tell like this was a bunch of creative people at the top of their game.
Yes, very good at what they
just having a blast doing something that you don't get to do very often.
And then I think like when it came down to the end, like we discussed this, it doesn't end how you expect it to.
No.
But it had to.
Yeah.
There was no other way that it could have ended. It had to be that way. And it was like, and everything that led up to that point, like, like it was exactly what it needed to be to get there. Oh,
water just came out.
Oh no.
Anyway, so can you think of any? So if we've praised this movie, is there anything that?
If anything, there's a part where I was very impressed with Janelle Monáe and the Cassandra Brand character. I think there are some parts where maybe she could have used a little bit more work with the dialect coach.
Okay.
But other than that, no. Like I honestly, like I can't think of something that I would change in the movie. How about you?
Not really complaints, just observations. I've heard the criticism that it was easy to guess who did it, but I think if you're going into one of these Benoit Blanc mysteries, and I want them to do more.
Right.
I want there to be more of these because I love them, and I want there to be more of these. I want there to be more of the Kenneth Branagh Poirots. I want more. I love these, but I think with the style of these Benoit Blanc mysteries is, like you mentioned, a bit Columbo. Right. You're not supposed to be fixating on who did it.
It's not more motive.
It's more about how he sussed it out.
Right.
And how does he lure them into the trap? Because really, I remember watching the first Knives Out, and I was like, well, spoiler alert, I was like, well, Chris Evans clearly did it.
Right.
Like you just knew that. And they tried to convince you otherwise, but it's like, no, he clearly did it. But the mystery and the fascinating part is not in the deducing who did it. It's how, again, like Columbo, it's how he figures it out and how he traps them.
Right.
So I think that's more of a dispute of that criticism, because it was pretty obvious, like, okay, that's the guy who did it.
Right.
Pretty clear. And I will say that once we reach the conclusion, once we've solved the mystery, I feel like, just in terms of length, it felt like the end of the film went on a little too long.
I thought that for a minute until that last climactic twist. Then I was like, oh yeah, no.
But I think you could have achieved that a little tighter. It felt like it was drawn out a little too much for me, to the point of like, okay, we know where this is going. Let's get there. But literally that's kind of the only thing I can think of.
That last scene was so cinematic. Like that climax was so cinematic. It was shot so well.
It was just but those are, and I'll always say this because it's something my mother always complains about. The film does do a lot of jumping back and forth in time, but the first one did that too. Right. So it may be possible for people to get lost. So you do. I don't know. I'm just saying it may be possible for people to be a little like, wait, where are we? But I didn't have that issue, but it's something I always hear my mother complaining about. So
I don't know. I think that it's got a pretty good roadmap for it. No. But no, I thought it was super well done, super interesting and intriguing, and like I was exclaiming at the end, and yeah, Daniel Craig should play Benoit Blanc forever.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that if.
And you mentioned Hugh Grant was playing his
boyfriend.
Right, and that's been confirmed, right?
Yeah.
Like that Benoit Blanc is.
Daniel Craig confirmed that.
So that's awesome, because we're all about that representation life. So. But yeah, it's it was a perfect. I came home after like a 10-hour flight. Yeah. And we started watching it at like 10 o'clock at night, and I still was there for all of it. I didn't fall, and you know that's my bar. Is this better than a nap? And, like,
it's our new rating system.
Yeah.
How much better than a nap is this movie?
Yes. So, like, that was, I'm chuffed.
All right.
Quite chuffed.
All right, so very good. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So, final grade for you for Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery.
Like I say, it's an A+, man. Like, I gotta give it an A+. It was exactly what you want in a Saturday night date movie. And one thing I will say too, there are parts where if this was a different director or a different movie, it could have gone a little bit gratuitous, but it stayed family friendly.
It felt classic.
Yes.
You know?
Which, I mean, I have no problem with nudity. I have no problem with, violence and all that. But this is something that that is something that you could enjoy with just about anybody. You're not going to feel bad watching this with your mom or
it's not. Yeah, there's nothing you're like going to be like, ooh.
Right.
It's not the Crow City of Angels. You know.
Okay.
Take my dad to the movies, thinking this will be great. Father-son movie trip, and there's a guy jacking it in a porn booth on screen. I'm like, Anyway, side story. For me, I gotta agree. I go A+ on this one.
Yeah. Holy crap, we never agree.
This just really hit everything it was supposed to hit. It does make my job a lot harder.
Figuring out what's your favorite for the year.
Because now that we have seen this one, my next task, aside from moving, is determining our top 10 list for the year. So wrapping up 2022 and moving into 2023, we're going to be changing some things up here on Drive Home Reviews, trying some different things. Of course, now I have a permanent co-host, and I could not be happier about that. So it is going to make. I'm interested in what next year's top, bottom, and meh films are going to look like, because that's going to be an interesting list when we're going back and forth on that.
Yeah.
So, but
apparently we found our sweet spot that we agree is Benoit Blanc.
Yeah. Okay. So there you have it. So thank you for joining us. We've got we're planning some of the first reviews for 2023 this week. So a lot going on, a lot happening, a lot of changes, but we're excited about them and excited to bring you along with us. So thank you for joining us, and as always, drive safe, and we will see you at the movies.